Negan was a polarizing character who entered The Walking Dead like a wrecking ball. After 5 seasons playing him, it's safe to say it turned Jeffrey Dean Morgan's life upside down. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was a fan of The Walking Dead series and the comic books before he was even cast on the AMC hit. So when he was offered the role of Negan, it was like a dream come true. Morgan told Interview magazine in 2016, "I'd watched the show for years. It was one of the few shows I would DVR and pay attention to." Morgan always felt his resemblance to Negan through his love of the Walking Dead comic series. He told Interview magazine that fans started approaching him at Comic-Con and told him that he would be amazing as a fan-fave character. When Morgan's agent told him about the possibility of playing a mystery villain on The Walking Dead, he knew exactly what the role was.
You know what I'm thinking? 'Cause I have a guess.
He told Interview magazine, "It's f***ing Negan, and I'm gonna f***ing do it." Morgan was determined to be on the show. The actor was working on The Good Wife when he was cast on The Walking Dead, but did his best to find a couple of days in his schedule to film the season 6 finale. AMC tried to be careful about spoilers, so Morgan only received his portion of the script before they shot the episode. He told Variety, "It was a little bit tense. For me, it all happened very fast. I think I got the script 2 days before I shot it." Jeffrey Dean Morgan has been in his fair share of movies and TV series. Some likely know him as Denny in Grey's Anatomy or Ike Evans in Magic City. And some first noticed Morgan in Supernatural when he played Sam and Dean's father, John Winchester. But Morgan's turn as a comedian in Watchmen proved he had the chops to play a villain. Despite having success as an actor, Morgan joining the cast of The Walking Dead in Season 7 will begin his longest consistent run on a television series. At New York Comic-Con in 2022, Morgan revealed the original plan for Negan was only 3 seasons long, resembling the character's original story arc in the comic. He revealed, "Originally, it was gonna be 3 years. I had a conversation with Scott Gimple, and it was like, you gotta be on it for at least 3 years if you want to be a part of the show." I was like, that seems like a long time. And Negan's role in the series developed well beyond the comics. Morgan stayed on until the series finale, starring in 95 episodes and spanning 7 seasons. Far from an industry newcomer, Jeffrey Dean Morgan still wasn't prepared to star in a series as high-profile as The Walking Dead. Morgan told the New York Times in 2022, "I was a big fan of the show, and I knew it was going to attract a bit of attention, but I had no idea of the levels of crazy that it was going to be." When asked in 2016 how the series had changed his life, Morgan jokingly admitted to AOL that he needed security. He also described some strange interactions with fans who have followed him home, and how he's been the recipient of odd letters and packages.
You know, I need to look in my rearview mirror when I go home at night from work, because people will follow me home. I get weird mail.
Despite having been on popular shows like Grey's Anatomy, the intensified attention was a big change. Morgan told ABC News in 2017, "I'm a very private dude. I live in the middle of nowhere, so it's been an adjustment." He also told AOL, "Everyone told me when I showed up on the set for this show that my life was gonna change. And I thought, well, that's bullshit." But Morgan later realized that the role was far different than anything he'd done before. He told Men's Journal in 2021 that being on the series and the success of his wife Hilarie Burton's best-selling memoir, Rural Diaries, helped him realize there wasn't a lot he could hide anymore. He explained how freeing it was, calling it, quote, "a weight off my shoulders." Jeffrey Dean Morgan's contentious entrance into The Walking Dead didn't necessarily make him popular with longtime fans. Some fans even stopped watching the show after the Season 7 premiere, when Negan killed fan-favorite character Glenn, played by Stephen Yeun. Morgan told Insider in 2023, "That one scene changed my life, literally in so many ways, and I still get for it." He added that fans still remind him that Glenn was their favorite character, so much so that Morgan told Insider in 2022 that if he could change one thing about Negan, he revealed, "I wouldn't have killed Glenn."
What? Was the joke that bad?
Being such a memorable character made Morgan's face pretty recognizable, and hanging out with other stars from the ultra-popular series only compounded his notoriety. Morgan recalled an experience with co-star Norman Reedus while they were riding motorcycles together. He told Interview magazine, "Within 3 minutes of us stopping to get gas, a couple of phone calls that people make and there's 100 people blocking us and we can't get out." Morgan told AOL that Reedus is especially generous with fans and that he has learned a lot about being gracious from his co-star. When Jeffrey Dean Morgan first landed the role of Negan, Walking Dead co-creator Robert Kirkman was still working on the character's backstory. Morgan told Variety after his debut in the Season 6 finale, "Hopefully we'll find out more about Negan as we go. I think his backstory is going to be pretty fascinating. That backstory was finally explored when Morgan's real-life wife, Hilary Burton, joined the cast for one episode of The Walking Dead in Season 10 to play Negan's deceased wife, Lucille. Morgan and Burton met through their friends Jensen and Danielle Ackles in 2009. After welcoming 2 children, the couple tied the knot in 2019. Although the 2 actors worked on the same series, Extant, in 2015, they didn't share any scenes. So working together as Negan and Lucille was their first time acting together face-to-face. Burton gushed about working with her husband on The Walking Dead in an Instagram post, saying, "When I tell you it has been a joy, I'm saying it with tears in my eyes." Morgan also posted to Instagram, saying working with his wife was a highlight of his career. AMC's The Walking Dead wasn't afraid to put complex characters on screen. Initially, Jeffrey Dean Morgan had reservations about playing a vengeful character like Negan. He told Men's Journal in 2021, "I was worried that Negan was very two-dimensional. I felt like every scene was an iteration of him coming out of that Winnebago." But Morgan admitted that he saw Negan as more of a survivor. He told Variety in 2016, "I don't think of him necessarily as a villain." Morgan had to dig deep for the character's redeemable qualities, but acknowledged that some fans believe Negan is psychotic. The actor has another way of seeing his character, telling Variety, "I never looked at him like that. I think there's a lot of similarities between him and Rick." Throughout The Walking Dead's run, Negan eventually went on a redemption arc. Morgan told Men's Journal, "Negan has become such an important part of my life. It'd be hard to make a clean cut and walk away. Unless they just want to kill me, just a knife in the back. And maybe that's what needs to be done for me to walk away from this guy."
Fair enough.
Actors can never get too comfortable as a cast member on an apocalyptic zombie show. Jeffrey Dean Morgan understood that all too well, as he knew he could be killed off The Walking Dead at any moment. Speaking about when he first went to Georgia to film, Morgan told the New York Times that he had a conversation with showrunner Angela Kang and said, "I had a 3-year deal initially. I remember asking Angela, should I buy a house? And she was like, eh. And I was like, well, that's it, I'm dead." Morgan never got around to buying a home in Georgia. His wife Hilary Burton told Interview magazine in 2021 that to keep the cast safe from filming her guest episode during the COVID pandemic, production had the cast quarantined in Alexandria, the neighborhood where the AMC show was being filmed. Burton added, "We lived in Rick Grimes' house. There were bullet holes in my child's closet door." Burton told Interview magazine that living on set during COVID was a bizarre experience, saying, "We were living in a real apocalypse in the real world, living in a rented house in a fake apocalypse, and filming the beginning of a pandemic." Despite filming The Walking Dead in Georgia, Morgan has remained committed to his children going to a normal school and living a life not regulated on a TV set. He and his wife own Mischief Farm in Hudson Valley, New York, where the family normally lives. If Jeffrey Dean Morgan hadn't already felt like the cast of The Walking Dead were family, weathering COVID together cemented the bond the cast and crew already shared. Season 11 was shot digitally instead of using film, and the production hired an army medic and infectious disease specialist as a safety precaution, according to Insider. Morgan told Deadline that during COVID, the cast and crew were the only people who could spend time together without extra safety precautions. He explained, "We really leaned on each other. It was hard on us too, and thank God we had each other." In an interview with GeoJournal, Morgan said that the show had a familial atmosphere, sharing that co-star Norman Reedus is known to his children as Uncle Norman. After The Walking Dead wrapped, Morgan was emotional about watching the series finale. He told Deadline, "It's weird. I haven't been able to watch the finale because there is a finality to it that I don't think I'm ready to deal with yet." Morgan admitted he hadn't actually watched the last 4 episodes of the series. He said, "I just haven't wanted to watch them. I think I just needed to be in a mood." Morgan admitted to Deadline that despite being very excited about getting to continue playing Negan in a spin-off series, he still misses the unique situation of the original show, saying, "I miss the show. I miss that crew. And when I say crew, I mean the cast and the actual crew." The Walking Dead spin-off Dead City picks up a couple of years after the events of the Walking Dead finale. It follows Maggie, played by Lauren Cohan, and Negan as they journey to Manhattan. Morgan told the New York Times, "When I found out the show was ending, I was like, okay, I did my bit. I'm proud of the work I did." But AMC floated the idea of a spin-off to him, and Morgan was all ears. Considering the actor's attachment to Negan, it isn't an enormous surprise that he jumped at the chance to reprise the role. Before the show's premiere, Morgan told GeoJournal that the shooting location was a motivating factor in his decision, saying, "The fact that I get to be home played a big part in making this decision really easy for me." Morgan admitted he couldn't wait to see the zombie apocalypse in New York City. The actor told Entertainment Weekly that he contemplated walking away when the original Walking Dead ended, but decided to return due to the story being good and worth telling.
Why I'm going to help you.
Because you owe me.
I owe you, right?
What happens when a mega popular TV show gets not just one but several spin-offs? Criticism, of course. Some fans of The Walking Dead were upset when announcements of the upcoming spin-off series spoiled who would survive the last season. Morgan joined the chorus himself, speaking out about how AMC announced Dead City and other series in the Walking Dead franchise. Morgan told Entertainment Weekly, "That's not the way we should have gone about it. I would have tried to go about it in a different way, but look, that's above my pay grade." The actor told Deadline that he got in a bit of trouble for being so vocal about AMC's era, but he stood by his statement. He said, "If you had watched the scene in the last episode of that lineup, imagine how much better that scene would have been if you thought Negan was going to die." Even with the criticism, Morgan holds the show close to his heart. He told Insider, "The journey that I went on with my kids and my wife was an amazing journey. To be enveloped by these people and the world because of this show is something that will never be duplicated, ever."